Hi everyone, it is our last video and I wanted to end with the beginning. This is on your binder covers and I wanted to reflect what our mission is as we end this cohort. Our top values are positive mindset, connection, responsibility, empowerment, and well-being. Based on these truths, we facilitate strengths-based good vibes professional development for Hawaii's early educators. We are in service to support you to be your best self so that you can support your students to be their best selves. H-PEP is passionate about connecting you to quality resources, helping you to focus on what's going right in your spaces, encouraging genuine personal reflection and aha moments, and supporting the exchange of light. Your presence, wisdom, and unique contributions to your students are honored. It begins with you. So I thought that was a great place to start. This last video is about reflections. We've journeyed together for 10 weeks. Can you imagine? It's been 10 weeks since we were at Kokokahi together. And at that time we were coming from different places and we didn't know each other, but look how far we've come. I really appreciated and enjoyed these weeks with you, especially with the Google community. It has been such a nice way to keep in touch through the miles and throughout the days. So I just wanted to ask you in these last couple days to take time, if you haven't done so already, to reflect on your experience. H-PEP is probably unlike any other professional development you've been to, and maybe it was not what you expected, but we hope that you got something out of it and that you've gained a different perspective and possibly some deeper understanding about yourself. And it really does begin with us. Education starts with us, peace starts with us, love starts with us. So I'm looking at this schedule. We had a lot of things that we did in this past cohort. So we had our opening retreat. We talked about the difference between technical and adaptive challenges. Professional development, for the most part, is adaptive challenges, right? So we are having discussions. We are talking about our mindsets. Those are adaptive things. Then when we're on the same page, we can do technical training. We talked about PBIS, and these are tools that we can all use. They are one of many or some of many tools. We are not saying that you have to use all of them, but these are ones that we have tried and recommend. So please take what you find beneficial from this cohort and leave the rest. But as long as you have an open mindset and you try things out, that's all we can hope for. We talked about your VIA character strengths. So wasn't that interesting to find out what your top 5 strengths are and try to practice those more often. And I hope that that has led you to increase levels of happiness and just following your passion more. We showed you the PBIS matrix and how you can have values across the top and settings, and you can state 3 to 5 positively stated expectations for each one, and how that can help you at least clarify as a teacher, or if you're doing it with your teams as a leader, what you're looking for. Because unless you do that, right, you can't really know even when you hit the jackpot, when people are, acting nicely, do we even know what we're looking for? That is key. We had several coach calls with your team. I hope you found those useful. We also talked about temperament and about how different types of kids and different types of personalities reach out for connection. And if we can all just remember that we're all just looking for connection, and that's the biggest idea. And sometimes those kiddos might not ask for them in the way that we would like or are comfortable with, but if you can remember that that is what they're looking for their attention bucket to be filled, it kind of makes it a little bit easier, hopefully, to address. And one of my favorites, ACR, active constructive responding. Remember, there are 4 types of ways to respond to good news. Active, constructive responding is the only one that's shown to build relationships. So it's just being genuine and being excited and interested when someone shares good news with you, and hopefully that will translate to your classroom. If you could react in such a way that makes that child feel that you're genuinely interested and excited, those are the beginnings of creating relationships. And then hopefully it is a ripple effect where the kids can see your interaction and they also do that as well. So ACR is where it's at. We also saw Kelly McGonigal, How to Make Stress Your Friend. That was a funny talk. She talks about mindset, about stress, and how our belief about what it does to us can change its effect on us. So that was some really powerful stuff. Then we learned about the background of shells, and then we actually made shells books the last time we were together. It was so much fun to see your creativity come out and just the playfulness. And I think we need to remember play more in our classrooms. That was an activity that was free. Maybe you can try it with your kids. Some of our educators from our last cohort did it, and they said their kids loved it, the preschool kids. So I hope that gives you some ideas of something that's free and easy. And again, we are looking for engagement, positive engagement. It's not about spending lots of money. It's not about getting things. It's the engagement of it all that is what really matters. We also learned about the happy secret to better work when he talked about his sister Amy the unicorn, and about how, again, just looking for what's going right just makes all the difference in the world. That was a really funny TED Talk if you haven't had a chance to watch it. And then, of course, Uncle Kanoa talking about Hakalau through it all and the value of getting outside the box, getting outside the problem, and being in possibility and solution. That is a huge lesson and gift to us as far as a reminder to think big picture, to think what are some other possibilities. That is a skill that we are blessed to have been reinforced and to learn from Uncle Kanoa. And I hope that you have found it valuable in your everyday lives, and especially translating to your classroom. And Ho'oponopono, the value of forgiveness, not just for others, but for ourselves. I think that is a lesson, again, that is so valuable, and it's amazing to be able to experience this with you all. So thank you. Then we talked about interest-based collaboration. Remember the 2 mountains being far apart, and if you are not willing to budge, it's very hard to come to a happy middle. So if you're wanting to come to a happy middle, what it takes is changing your mindset again, being super creative, and figuring out what you have in common with that other person or that other idea. And it might just have to be basic, like super, super basic. It might have to be, we're both human beings. We're both trying the best that we can. Maybe that's what it is. But once you at least connect and see the other person or the other perspective as something that's valuable and something that you are able to learn from, rather than something that's punishing you, the faster we can get to moving forward. And that's what we all really want, right? Is to move forward. And that brings us to today, reflections and letters of gratitude. So again, in these last couple of days of the cohort, we hope that you are doing some very deep reflection, journaling, thinking, taking time to breathe, and really processing all that we have learned together, and hopefully making a lot of connections on how this relates. We didn't want to tell you how it relates to you. We're hoping that you can figure out how it relates to you or not. We value your perspective in that way and believe that you have the power to make up your own mind about what works for you and what doesn't. So again, I hope that you take some time, and I really, really, really hope that you take some time after for our cohort to post evaluations. So we're going to be sending out some evaluations online, and if you can take the time, even if you type it out and then copy and paste it, we would love to hear your feedback. As we mentioned, we are a pretty new project. We're just about a year old. If there's something that you think is valuable to yourself and other people, please share it with us. If you shared it before, we thank you so much, but please share it again in these evaluations. Now, the more than ever, we're probably going to be needing funding and wanting to continue the journey and the work of H-PEP and the great start that you guys have afforded us. So if you could let us know what things need to be changed in order to make it even better, or what things have really worked for you, specific details of like, if you loved it, why did you love it? If you didn't like it, why not? And we really, really, really would value your feedback more than ever. So thank you for considering doing that. And then the last thing, well, not even last thing, another thing is another call to action is to write a letter of gratitude. Before I go into that, I wanted to remind you, this is like what the bag's gonna look like. We talked about Happy Mail. This is mine, I decorated it. You don't have to make it fancy, just put your name. And then these are my goodies inside from last time that I so love. I have it on my desk still. But everyone's going to get a bag, and our jobs is to fill other people's buckets. So make sure you write to your team, your leader. We're going to have a bag for each of the speakers that we've had throughout the cohort. Make sure to drop a note and let you know what you appreciated about them. If you write to your team, you can write to everyone, or you can also just Xerox stuff and sign it, or write a little note, or whatever you want. But the main thing is to fill people's buckets. And then with that, having the time to sit down and write one letter, whether or not you send it is up to you. We're not going to check, we're not going to collect. But think about one person in your life from the past or even present that you just really, really value, but haven't had the chance or the opportunity to thank them for it. I think many times, especially as teachers, we know that it's sometimes a thankless job, right? We don't ever know where our influence ends or begins, but have faith that it does. You guys are totally making a difference, and your work is amazing. So let's try to take that joy and spread it to other people. So whether it be a family member, a friend, a former educator that you've had, a hero, someone that you really, really have a lot of gratitude for, we challenge you in this last couple days to take out your pen and paper. If you need to type it, that's okay too, but take some time to reflect it, and we challenge you to send it. Let that person know how much they mean to you. And with that, we know that it'll cause a ripple effect of peace and happiness, which happy people, happy educators, we're all going to change the world, right? So we challenge you to do that. And then the final is a closing retreat. We're so excited to see you on Saturday. Really bittersweet to see it come to an end. But as we all know, once you are a part of H-PEP, you're always a part of H-PEP. So it's not goodbye for sure, but it's definitely the closing of our formal part. So we can't wait to see you on Saturday. It's at the same campus center room that we were at last time. Checking in starts at 8:30, and our program is from 9 to 5, and we have some amazing people coming. So we're going to start with our breakout EDU, which is our scavenger hunt. Bring your smartphones if you have, bring your binders, your name tags, your journals. Bring yourself, your happy self, your open-minded self, your caring self. Please let us know if you have any questions. Again, in these last few days, take some time to reflect. And again, think about how things connect and what you're grateful for, and write those letters. Anyway, I will see you on Saturday. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.